April, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Business, Finance, and Justice Committee budget hearing. Today is Monday, November 28, 2022. I call this meeting to order at 1 p.m. Invocation, Representative Freeman, if you would provide us that, please.
Amen.
Thank you, Representative Freeman. First of all, let me say I'm coming to you virtually as I'm on the last day of COVID isolation. Roll call, roll call, April Lindsay.
Patrick Freeman. Sandra Golden. Randall Hicks.
Present.
Thomasine Yahola Osborne.
Present.
Mark Randolph.
Present.
Madam Chair, you got 5 present and 0 absent.
We have 5 present, 0 absent. That establishes a quorum. Any business conducted will be valid. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes, and we have none. Next item on the agenda is order of business. We have first the Department of Justice. If we could have someone come to the podium or online, and if you'll introduce yourself, please. Anyone from the Department of Justice?
Good afternoon, committee members. I'm Richard LeBlanc, Chief Justice of Muskogee Nation Creek Nation, and we're here to present our budget for the 2023 year.
Madam Chair, this is actually the Attorney General's office budget.
Okay.
That we're going first.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who do we have?
Hi, this is Susan Archikeeter with under the Office of Justice with Office of Child Support. Is that scheduled at this time?
The only budget we have, it says MC and Gaming Office of Justice, and it has Ms. Weisner's name on it.
Okay.
Is Ms. Weiser available?
We do not see her in the audience.
Okay. Committee, I think the best that we can do right now is to make a motion to hear their budget next week during our second budget hearings.
Madam Chair, could
Yes.
I make a motion to move her to the bottom of the agenda? If she doesn't come in, then we'll move her to next week.
Yes, sir. That'll be great.
Thank you. I make a motion to I'll put Attorney General Weisner's budget at the end of our agenda.
We have a motion from Representative Randolph to move the AG's budget to the bottom of the agenda. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Golden. We have a second from Ms. Golden. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mark Randolph.
Yes.
Patrick Freeman. Sandra Golden. Randall Hicks.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
We have 4 in favor, 0 against to move the Department of Justice, Representative Weiner's budget to the bottom of the agenda. Next item on the agenda is Legislative Branch, the National Council budget.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Committee, Speaker William Lowe. I request that our budget hearing today be postponed till next Monday. We had a supplemental legislation last March, and those numbers didn't make the current budget that you have in front of you. So if we could have time to update that and revisit that on the next hearing, that would be much better for us. Just so
Thank you,
all the
Speaker.
numbers are accurate. Yes, ma'am.
Do I have a motion to postpone the National Council's budget until the next budget hearing next Monday?
Make a motion to postpone legislative branches agenda or the budget till next Monday.
We have a motion from Representative Randolph to move the National Council's budget to the next budget hearing. Do I have a second?
Representative Hicks, second.
We have a second from Representative Hicks. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mark Randolph,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman. Sandra Golden.
Yes.
Randall Hicks.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
We have 4 in favor, 0 against. The National Council's budget will be heard at the next BF&J budget hearing meeting Monday, December the 5th. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Committee. Next item on the agenda is Judicial Branch. We'll have the District Court first.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair. You want me to go ahead and start?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Well, we've submitted the budget and it's pretty much like last year's budget, except in 3 places. All the budget items are the very same as last fiscal year. We've increased postage and shipping by $3,000 because we're doing jury trials. We're going to have 4 jury dockets next year. We hadn't been doing jury dockets until this past year, 2022. And you have to send out a lot of summons, juror summonses, and everything to keep the jury informed about what's going on. So we've incurred a lot of costs on postage. We've also increased our telephone expense because telephone and communications, because we've hired a lot of new employees. We have several new clerks we didn't have a year ago, and they all need phones. They all need computers. They have to be able to work. So to have proper equipment for them, we needed an increase in that salary, that line item. The biggest line item increase is contractual, and that increase is just over $1.2 million. And the reason is we have judges working pretty much to the maximum amount of their contracts. We have to pay for the public defenders ourselves on this upcoming budget because our grant that we got from Tribal Justice Support expired last year. They were paying for our public defenders. Now we have to assume that cost. We have a lot of probationers who require drug testing to make sure they're in good standing on probation and following the terms of their probation. Drug costs are expensive. They're a couple of $100 a piece from what I remember. And then court reporters, we're having more trials. We require more court reporting, and that is an additional cost too. So that's the increase for contractual. It's all related to handling criminal cases under McGirt, public defenders, judges, drug testing, court reporting, and the new clerk positions. So those are our 3 adjustments, all related to McGirt, essentially exercising that jurisdiction that the federal court said is ours.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Wiley? Does anyone have any questions from the representatives in attendance or online?
Madam Chair? Sandy
Yes,
Golden.
Ms. Golden?
Yes, I have a question. Just because I wasn't here last year, so I don't know how you do your budgets. But my question is, on your salary plan, it's proposed, you have current salaries and proposed salaries. And so there's like 5 positions. Are those new on the end, starting with peace officer, probation officers? On Schedule A?
Yes, those are positions that aren't filled yet, but we are looking to get new courtrooms. And when we get those, we have, we'll need new bailiffs and probation
So
officers.
they're new, they
Yes,
will be
they're
new
new.
people.
Submitting legislation, trying to get support for modular building. We'd like to run 2 jury trials at the same time. Can't do that right now. I'm sorry. We're submitting legislation hopefully soon for a modular building between here and the controller's office next door, so we can run 2 jury trials simultaneously. We can get through a lot of these backlog cases we have if we have 2 juries going at the same time. And that's why we'll need the extra personnel too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Golden. A question that I had, Mr. Wiley. I think it was Representative Marshall had asked the question before or had recommended that, Creek Nation purchased the DHS building in Holdenville in hopes of having like a roving type judicial system. Is that something that this added personnel would assist in?
Well, we hadn't planned to use them for that purpose. What we're trying to do is take care of what we have right here now, but we could in the future. And there's no reason why we couldn't assign some of those people to go over there from time to time.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Wiley?
Madam
Hearing
Chair.
none, roll call vote,
Madam
please.
Chair, Madam Chair.
Oh, sir. Representative Hicks?
Sorry. Mr. Wiley, where would the funding come from to purchase the modular? Where would the funding come from to purchase the modular?
I'll have to talk to the chief about that. I've been talking to the chief about the modular building. I think it's ARPA money, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because the reason I asked, because you removed the funding out of the office lease rent offsite, so
Yeah.
that's where the question arose from. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Representative Hicks. Are there any other questions for Mr. Wiley?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Representative Randolph. Do I have a second?
Second, Representative Hicks.
We have a second from Representative Hicks. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mark Randolph,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Randall Hicks.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
We have 4 in favor, 0 against. The budget for the district court is approved. Next item on the agenda is Supreme Court.
Good afternoon again, Madam Chairman and committee members. I am Richard LeBlanc, Chief Justice, Muskogee Nation, Creek Nation. We have presented our proposed budget for fiscal year 2023. Total budget amount is $760,000.51. This is a increase from last year's budget, and it is primarily has to do with the salary structure for the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, the Vice Chief Justice, and the 5 other justices. We felt like that this pay raise was necessary. It's been over 20 years since the justices have had a salary increase. As a matter of fact, when I was on the court before, that's when we charged by an hourly rate. And whenever time that we left our place of business or our home, we were charging the nation an hourly rate. And it was my feeling at that time that was kind of exorbitant. So we went to the standard rate of $1,000 a month. Since that time, we have added 2 new justices, as well as the caseload is increasing, just as Judge Wiley just mentioned that because of McGirt, they're seeing a great influx of new cases in the district court level. So accordingly, that means that there's going to be more appeals coming to the Supreme Court. So we have been definitely spending more time. Although we don't meet in person on a monthly basis, we do meet monthly by video. As a matter of fact, we have our next meeting tomorrow night by video. We have 1 justice who lives in Arizona, 1 justice lives in Minnesota, One justice lives in Tulsa, one in Shawnee. I live in McAllister, and we have one in Henrietta and one in Sapulpa. So you can see we have, the justices are kind of spread out, and so really it's not practical to have an in-person meeting, but we do when we have oral arguments. We even have during the COVID period, we did have oral arguments by Zoom. But hopefully we have some more oral arguments coming up. They will be in person, which will require more travel coming in. The other issue we have that we have increased is the 5% increase for the standard, the staff, and our staff attorney. Of course, once you increase the salaries, the fringe has to increase as well. The mileage was increased a bit because of the increased cost of fuel. Supplies was increased because of the rising cost of the supplies. And actually, the postage was decreased by half. So those items that we have in the budget, the ups and the downs, or the ups and the increases or the decreases, are well established, and we'd stand to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc. Are there any questions for Mr. LeBlanc from the committee?
Madam Chair, Sandy Golden.
Ms. Golden, go ahead.
Sir, you said that the total of your budget was, the grand total was how much?
Beg your pardon?
When you started out, you said that the grand total was how much? What was the figure?
Grand total now is $760,051.
Okay.
The one that previously we proposed was $681,265. However, the National Council did pass legislation that approved the increases for the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, the Vice Chief, and the resident justices.
Well, the reason I'm asking, sir, is because in this budget that we have received, it's not reflected in here.
Beg your pardon?
It's not reflected in the hard copy that we have.
Madam Chair, Controller would like some time to talk.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Apparently, that could be an oversight on our side, not getting the amended budget proposal to the council or the committee. But I have it here. We can make copies real quick and get that to you.
Let's begin.
Committee, do you want copies?
Yes, please.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Ms. Killian?
Yes, she is correct, because the budget we have reflects $697,318, but it doesn't take into consideration what was passed on the NCA. So yes, we will need the copies that you have.
Madam Chair, could we just stand at recess? We get the copies for you, and then you can.
Yes, sir, that'll be fine.
Madam
Do
Chair.
we have a motion?
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Mr. LeBlanc,
Representative Randolph?
Representative Hicks.
Hicks, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Can you give me that total again?
$760,051. 760,051.
Madam Chair, if it's okay with the committee, I'd go ahead and approve and then get the paperwork afterward. Or would you rather see the paperwork first, Ms. Golden? Okay. Okay, we shall wait then.
She went to make copies of this.
Okay, we'll wait just a couple minutes, sir.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, while we're waiting, could I ask Patricia Killian a question, please?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Ms. Killian, in the budgets, I noticed that there is it's like 54% for indirect costs. And I was wondering where in the budget does the indirect costs, I'm trying to think of the word, I'm sorry, assigned to?
Are you talking about the indirect or the fringe?
It says indirect. Yeah, I guess fringe was 54%. indirect cost is another percent. I don't,
You want to see what the percentage is? Verify the percentage?
what's the percentage of it? Because you give the total of it, but also where does where in the budget does it get assigned to pay for anything?
You're wanting to know what the indirect amount goes to pay for?
Yes.
Yes, it is those programs that are, do not directly affect these particular programs, that affects overall,
Okay.
like an overall nation, like finance, IT, facilities, interior affairs, portion of that.
Yeah, well, in the cab, when I'm looking through all of it, I don't see where it's assigned to any of those.
You will
I
see at
must
the
have missed
top
it.
when we get ready to do a certain program, we'll say Treasury, for instance, it's funded by 8,700, which is indirect.
Yeah,
It's called
see that,
admin. Yes,
that up there.
yes.
Okay. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
Have you seen it? You haven't?
Madam Chair, Representative Hicks,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Ms. Patricia, I want to bring something else to your attention on the Schedule A for the Supreme Court. On the salary range and the proposed, or the current and proposed, those grades need to be changed because it's actually out of the range.
Yes, that should be changed. It is out of the range. Thank you.
Has the revised budget been delivered?
No, not yet.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
may I be excused, go see what's taking so long to get these copies?
Yes, sir, that'll be fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
he's over there, but also, controller needs one.
Okay, committee, I'll give you a couple minutes to review, and then if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Madam Chair,
Representative Freeman,
I make a motion to approve the Supreme Court budget.
we have a motion from Representative Freeman to approve the Supreme Court budget.
Second, Representative Hicks.
We have a second from Representative Hicks. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Patrick Freeman,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Randall Hicks,
Yes.
Mark Randolph.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
We have 4 in favor, 0 against. The budget for the Supreme Court passes.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
LeBlanc.
Madam Chair, committee members, thank you, and appreciate your indulgence and the time to get you the current information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.